This is Micro-credential in a Minute, produced by Micro-credential Multiverse. Hi, my name is Rob.
And my name's Katie, and we're micro-credential and digital badge experts.
So thanks for joining me, Katie. Today, we're going to talk about what is the value of a micro-credential. So where does it come from? What do you think, Katie?
Big question in short time. I think that value depends on the type of credential and also on which stakeholder we're talking about. Stakeholders like the learner, the issuer, and the consumer, which is often an employer or a potential employer. So if we think about a credential that recognizes acquired knowledge through a MOOC, for example, the value for the learner might be that it signals their knowledge and interest in a domain. Maybe it opens doors to further learning or boosts their confidence to take on a stretch project at work. The value for the issuer might be to increase program completion rates. It's a common effect we see when issuing digital credentials for non-mandatory course completion. And the value for employers might be to understand an employee or potential employee's level of exposure to a domain, possibly their learning agility or growth mindset, but they're probably not going to make any hiring decisions based on that specific credential. On the other hand, if we're thinking about a credential that recognizes successful completion of a boot camp, which culminated in a real world project that mirrors or is actually placed in the context of work, the value of that credential might be to help employers identify talent and to help learners signal their job readiness and access job opportunities, and to help the issuer establish a brand reputation as their, alumni are recognized as high performers in their industry. So both credentials are valuable. They just have a different purpose and help all three stakeholders achieve different goals.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. So I often think about there are like micro-credentials that get you hired and there's micro-credentials that get you ahead. So when you're thinking about like a project-based or maybe a competency-based credential that includes some kind of evidence, then you have a built-in portfolio that you can show an employer. You refer to the employer as the consumer. I nuance that a little bit. Sometimes I refer to that group of stakeholders as a recognizer. So a little bit like the currency of a US dollar, right? It's valuable because it's recognized as valuable by enough people. But if everyone woke up tomorrow morning and decided that the US dollar didn't mean anything, then it would suddenly not mean anything. It's like this almost math illusion, right, that we've created. So the same thing goes for everything from college degree, which we all agree is really valuable, all the way down to a micro-credential, which we're still trying to figure out which ones are valuable and what kind of value those micro-credentials might actually have. Did you want to add anything else onto that?
Yeah, I think that figuring out what kind of value is an important statement and a nuanced one. I think the difference in value is not better or worse, just serves a different purpose, different credentials for different goals. And I think the goal is to figure out which credentials are right for the right people at the right time.